What is going on, YouTube? Tom here, on my way to Starbucks. Feels like forever since I've just done a Starbucks vlog like this. And I always do driving vlogs, but it seems like I'm never just going to Starbucks anymore. I used to do that all the time, where I even title a video, Starbucks vlog. But today, I wanted to talk about a car that's probably going to be beating the dead horse. Yes, let's talk about the new Supra. Now, I saw an article recently posted that it actually makes a lot more power than it's advertised at. I'll put a link down below for that. But they said in this article that it actually makes like almost like 338, I believe, horsepower to the wheels. And that, now the downside was that's not in its 1-to-1 gear, because it does hit the speed limiter. It has the same problem as a Mustang with a 10R80. It hits the speed limiter, and so realistically you have to dyno it in the gear below it, and so it makes a higher horsepower number. Now, I don't want to beat the dead horse here with the Supra. I don't want to mention in this video how it's co-developed between BMW and Toyota. I'm not going to mention how it shares the drivetrain with the BMW Z4. And I'm surely not going to mention how it still does not come with a manual option. I'm not going to mention any of that, because that's not the purpose of this video, because that really is beating the dead horse. I wanted to talk more about the name, if anything. And that is it truly going to be worthy of its name? Because that's sort of a big deal with the car. It's the big controversy, I think, of anything has been its nameplate. Supra. Coming from the Mark IV Supra now to this one. You know, I think that's a big point of contention right there. It's just, some people say it's not worthy of the nameplate it has. And I'm gonna have to say I agree with some people. Now, the big one with this horsepower argument is, obviously everyone says, hey, it's making only 335 horsepower. Well, no, the dynos prove that it's making more. Now, it was on a dyno jet. But yes, it's making more power than it's being advertised at. Now, its twin, the BMW Z4, Toyota cringes probably at hearing that. But yes, its twin makes more power. So, there is a certain amount of disappointment when even the BMW version of the same car makes more power. Now, realistically speaking, I haven't done the calculation yet, but I'll put up on screen what that 320 horsepower is, assuming a 15% drivetrain loss. Because realistically speaking, that means it is making more power. Now, of course, only having the 15 more than a Mark IV. Yes, because Mark IV back that day, 300 horsepower was a lot back in the 90s. These days, to be a competitive sports car in this market, you have to have 400 at least. Seeing from experience, I drove a Coyote Mustang, of course, as a lot of people know. If you're new to the channel, that's what I'm in right now, is a Coyote Mustang, which is rated at 460, and I, of course, put this car in a dyno, and it made, conservatively, we'll say 440, because the 460 number, it actually did make 464, but realistically speaking, it probably made, in reality, 440. So, this car, too, is underrated. So, it's pretty common now to have an underrated car. But the fact that the Supra only makes, 335 is still a little bit of a point of contention. However, the acceleration numbers don't lie. Car and Driver got it to 3.8 seconds, 0 to 60, which I think is pretty fast. That's for once, it's actually better than what it's rated at. Usually, these cars get worse than what they're rated at. Again, going back to my Coyote Mustang, it's rated for mid-4s. Best I've been able to do is 5 flat. My car, of course, is a manual, so it needs a driver mod to get it into the mid-4s. I'm not the greatest manual driver in the world. That sort of kind of brings me up to my next touchy subject with the Supra, is the fact that it's coming with an automatic only. And unfortunately, the demand is there for a manual, and Toyota is just simply not listening. And I feel like their logic is just worse and worse every time they try to justify it. It's like they've got their fingers in their ears going, la 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 la, we're not listening, la la la, automatic is better. That's what Toyota's doing. Their most recent sort of logic behind why they're not going to put a manual is recently all the Corollas got manuals. The Toyota Corolla and its refresh has manual options across the board. And their logic was, well, the Corolla only sold 2% or something, or what, 1% or 2% with the sedan, and then 15% with the hatchback with a manual. So clearly, people don't want manuals. Well, I'm sorry, Toyota, you're wrong. You are just plain and simple wrong. People who buy a Corolla don't want a manual. People buying Corollas want economy cars. Most of the people buying Corollas are probably going to end up being millennials who don't know how to drive a manual. So of course they're not going to sell many Corolla manuals. Now let's take a look at cars that do have a manual option, that manuals actually matter. One of them being the Corvette, for example, still sells around 50% with a manual. Let's take, for example, going back to the Coyote Mustang example, the Mustang. It sells pretty well in manual numbers. In fact, the first question a lot of people ask me about my Mustang is manual or auto. And let's take kind of the best known example of a car with a manual, the Miata. 75% of Miatas sold are manuals. What does that tell you? People who want a sports car want a manual transmission. And on top of that, it would make more power than that 320-something number to the wheels if it had a manual. So, realistically speaking, I think the Toyota Supra just is not going to live up to its nameplate. And now, I'm actually curious to drive one. I've got connections with Toyota dealers. I'll probably see what I can do about getting a review for one. I really want to. You know, it's a car that I think is going to be hotly debated. It's going to be this big point of contention. But journalists are saying it's good. Now, taking that with a grain of salt, obviously all the journalists are going to say it's good that went to the Toyota press launch because they're not getting paid, but Toyota's flying them out there to review it. They're all going to say it's good. You're not going to say it's bad right in front of the Toyota engineers' faces. But I'm definitely going to try reviewing it when it comes out at the dealer lot. Hopefully they'll let me. Hopefully this won't be like the GT350 where you have to buy one to drive it. That's definitely something I want to do, is review it, post a video about it, kind of be one of the commoner reviewing it, not just a journalist. But I'm excited for that just because I know it'll be good, but the big question is, will it live up to its nameplate? And that's my honest opinion on that, is I don't think they should have called it Supra. I think they could have gotten away with calling it Celica. Maybe. I don't think that really would have been a good Celica either. But realistically, they should have called it something entirely new. They shouldn't have reused an old nameplate. When you reuse a nameplate, immediately everyone starts comparing the new car to the last one. But that's just my opinion on it. I don't want to beat the dead horse any longer with this new Supra.
There he is, beating that dead horse. Get him!
Back to ranting about the GT500 not coming with a manual. Just kidding, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I'm right around the corner from Starbucks. But anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you think about all of that. What do you all think about this new Supra? Is it going to be a good car, or is it going to be a flop? Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. You are stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. A lot more exciting content is coming. Anyway, take care, have a good day. Much better. Now I got my coffee. Now I can finally start my day.